exercise is hard and it's confusing and I don't even know where to get started. Does this sound like you? If yes, then this video is going to be for you. I'll see you in just a minute. Hello everyone, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel where every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday we upload videos, and on Sunday we host a live stream, affectionately coined Coffee Talk, where we brew up a warm beverage, talk about its origins and history, often pair it with a ketogenically inclined recipe, and then we chat amongst ourselves. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button below and then the little bell icon so you're notified every time we upload or go live. And if you could do me a big favor and share out the channel so that we can increase our community just a smidge and enjoy each other's fellowship, that would be amazing. So today, as you can see, I'm taking my little lunch break, and I thought about some of the things that we talked about recently, and in my head I've been thinking about my own experiences with fitness and exercise. And out there's an awful lot of information, and there's a lot of myths, and then a lot of different coaches with different perspectives, and that is because people who go through different training programs, obviously you find your personal passion and then you work within that. And while most of the basics are the same, once you branch out, it becomes, just like everything else, a bit of information overload. And sometimes that can be a little bit demotivating and make it hard for you to focus in and start on your own journey. In addition to that, there's a lot of the mantra of, but if I'm keto for weight loss, do I even need to exercise? And do I need to exercise to lose weight? So the answer is not necessarily, but if your only goal and your only purpose for eating ketogenically is to lose weight quick, I'm going to say something that feels a little bit mean, and I'm sorry that it's mean, but it's also one of those hard truth moments. If you are only eating ketogenically for quick weight loss, you probably need to take a moment to sit back and really evaluate why you're making those choices and what your long-term goals are. Ultimately, ketogenic food plans are not for quick weight loss. Yes, weight loss can happen quickly. It's often a side effect of changing your food to such a eating, but it's not a weight loss diet. It is a long-term health change diet. It's for cardiovascular health, it's for seizure control, it's for all kinds of different things. It helps alleviate MS symptoms. By the way, before I say something wrong, as a reminder, I am not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. It means dive in and use what I say to go into your own doctor and ask questions. It also means do some research, and I don't mean like go and fund a study, but I do mean go and read resources from experts, look into medical journals where they have talked about these kind of things. So just to get ourselves back on track, exercise. So where do you even begin? The answer is really starting with, I'm sorry, I'm losing my words. The answer is, where are you in your journey? Have you just started making health improvements? Are you overwhelmed? Do you feel bad because you see in some of our groups people like me, and maybe you see like Coach Bronson and his amazing mom, and we've been at this for a lot of years now, so we're like killing it and we're excited and pumped, so we talk about it, and a lot of our stuff is probably maybe a bit extreme. Um, so, and then you go to YouTube and you see workouts, and they're like, yeah, use this 25-pound kettlebell and kill it, go, go, go. And uh, if you pick up a 2-pound barbell and you do like 5 little dance steps with a Zumba, and then you're panting and you're out of breath and you just can't do it, and then you start feeling like maybe this is not for me. That's where we want to start talking about things, because you're hearing this high level people who've already been at it and gone through where you're at now. We did that in the past. We've been there. We know what it feels like. Sometimes we forget. So we have to reset our thinking. And since it's New Year, we're going to get a big influx. We're going to have people suddenly ramped up to start exercising. I thought this was the perfect time. New Year's, new outlook. So where do you get started? Do you know what? Start by getting up off the couch. That sounds crazy. Start by getting out of your chair. That's it. Start with that. If you are really poorly conditioned, it is going to be too much. You're going to do 10 jumping jacks and then feel like you're dying and you need to lay down on the floor. Don't hurt yourself. Do not. Build up slowly. And that leads me to the topic we started discussing on our last Sunday night live stream, when I kind of went on a little rant because we talked about the fact that there's a lot of information out there that says cardio is useless. So let's really dive into that. What does that mean? Why do they say that? Why do you have to jump in and lift weights, build muscle, build muscle, build muscle, and suddenly that's not as appealing to you and you can't do it yet? So where do you go? Cardio. Why? And I'll tell you why. It's because cardiovascular exercise help increase your heart rate, it decreases your blood volume, decreases your heart muscle in size and strength, and gives you a change in your blood pressure, central cells in the neck. They send messages to your brain. Here I am, back on that brain stuff again. And that sends messages to your heart, your blood vessels, your hormones, and all of these things are important to have happen, because if you are a sedentary person, and that is not a judgment or a negative thing to say, because I was totally a sedentary person. I did not even want to get up to get my own plate of food, and my family was happy to help me do that. So yeah, guess what? I wasn't out there jumping up and going, you know what, I've changed my mind, it's time to exercise, let's run a marathon. No, it doesn't work that way. So you have to start somewhere, and you need to start up by building some kind of endurance so you can actually put out the work effort. And that is where your cardio and aerobic exercises come in. If you've been sedentary for long periods of time, and let's face it, a lot of you on my channel wouldn't be here if that hadn't been the case. That's not everybody, but it is a lot of us. I feel like a lot of us connected because we share that bond of having been living an unhealthy lifestyle, and now we're transitioning into a different health, a healthier, better health for ourselves, and we're trying hard to make it work. So if you're brand new, if you're brand new to exercise, we have to build up some endurance. We have to strengthen our body so that we can do some of those other things. If you've been sedentary for a long time, things that can happen is, like I said before, your heart muscle is affected, and the muscles from your legs and your calves and your arms get weak, so you can't do as much. There's loss of muscle bulk, which is why we eventually need to transition into that strength training. You need to build that up. But when you're sedentary, your muscles shrink down in size. So you can't flex your arms and get a nice big old bulge. Instead, it gets kind of flat and it's very squishy. It becomes weaker. You're not going to be lifting that box of paper at the office. Sometimes, it's just the way it is. So, and then loss of endurance. Endurance is how long you can do exercises. And you simply aren't going to be able to do it. You can't carry stuff up and down the stairs 3 times. You're lucky if you can carry it 1 time. Endurance. So that's where your cardio stuff becomes a benefit. It's the first step. It's the first step. Now, cardio is not going to help you with fat loss. It doesn't work that way, plain and simple. It's going to help you build up your endurance so that eventually you can do things that help promote fat loss. Once you get some endurance and you get your body used to being able to move, which is what cardio is for, then you can start doing things like some interval training, your strength training, lifting weights, and help work on that body recomposition. Help working on stuff. Yes, strength training is what's going to help you burn fat and build muscle. So they require those strength training exercises help use the fat to burn and build the muscle. And that's why it's especially important during a ketogenic food plan. So mix and match. But when you're first starting out, know that you're not going to be out there and say, like, I've decided it's time to exercise, so now I'm going to go jogging. Start off small. Start off with, let's do 1,000 steps today. Yes, 1,000 steps. That's what I said. And you know that there are plenty of us where that's going to be hard. When I first started my journey, my #1 first goal was for me to walk to the end of my block and then 2 houses up so that I could watch my child play in the playground. That was my goal. And let me tell you, for a while, that was an unachievable, insurmountable mountain in my head. But guess what? I did it. And then after that, it was to go a little bit, maybe then I actually played with my child in the playground for a little bit. Then maybe I took my little dog on walks, which meant going a little bit further. Maybe we went all the way around the block. There was no maybe. That's what we did. Guess what? Now, several years later, I'm cycling for hundreds of miles a week. I can walk several miles. I actually did like this crazy workout that was 10,000 steps in an hour. And let me tell you, whew, that was intense. But that's not how I started out. You don't go from 0 to 1,000 in like that. It just doesn't work that way. So don't compare yourself, and don't let the excitement of those of us who've been at this a while bring you down, because you actually can do it 100%. And my very first live stream, we actually did some very gentle exercises to start with while you were sitting down. And they were not cardio, but they were not necessarily strength training. They were kind of in between. They were just getting some movement going, just starting to train yourself and get going. They were some very simple stretches, some little lifts, some arms. And I think that I'm working on moving things around a little bit so that we can, I'm just kind of looking around here. I'm like, man, there really is very little space. This might be a great thing to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but maybe I can show you some things by even doing some very simple little workouts right here in my little office space. Because sometimes those are other reasons that I hear is I don't have time, I don't have space. So I want you to know that you don't have to have a little gym in your basement. You don't have to go to Planet Fitness where you feel bad because you're worried that someone's looking at you, which by the way, they're not. So, but it sure feels like it. I hate going to the gym. I feel so uncomfortable. I built it up in my head that everybody is looking like, ooh, look at that old fat lady on those trying to lift weights. I know they're somewhere in my head. I know they're not, but the other part of my brain is whispering in my ears. So for me, it's comfortable to be home and doing these things. And guess what? We can 100% do it. I don't know about this week because I have some cables that I want to move first. And I just want to make sure that I have a comfortable spot. But I do want to show you that we can. We can even do, as for the I don't have time, let's do some 10-minute workouts. How about when the weather is slightly tolerable, and I don't mean comfortable, because I'll go outside for a brief little walk for 30 minutes. What if we start doing that together? Can we do that once in a while? Tell me you can. Tell me you will. I think that would be great. It'll be a good place to start. So, but don't let somebody tell you that's useless, because no movement is useless. All exercise has a use to it. And if you are a lover of cardio and it makes you move and get your heart rate up, do it. Just know that it's not necessarily going to be the magic that you are looking for, because it's got its purpose. Its purpose is cardiovascular strengthening and endurance strengthening, but it's not going to help you lose weight. You can't out-exercise your diet. It's not going to help you reduce your fat or your body percentage. That is where you build up to it and you start integrating your other training, so that you might do some cardio here, then you're going to do some strength training here, add in some intervals and a little bit of everything, and then you will find that over time, if you start with just these little bits, like I say, start with 1,000 steps. Make sure you can do it. When that becomes something that's achievable without a lot of effort, then you need to change it and add on to it or do something else. I like to call that in exercise accumulation, where you start out and you do one thing, and then it becomes not as horrible as it was when it started. And so you add a second thing, and then you do that second thing, and then the first thing, and the first thing, and the second thing. And you just start slowly building it. And then suddenly, one day, you're going to look back and you're going to say, like, holy crap, look what I just did. Whoa, whoever could have known? And I will tell you, well, I knew you could do it, because you are amazing. So that is my ramble and wild thing today. What I'd like to do is hear more what you want to hear about, because I know this was not heavy on the information and more of just kind of like a wild blathering rant about exercise being good for you. So let me know what you want to hear. Let me know what you want to do in terms of fitness. I personally love the idea of me finding a way to make this little teeny tiny space here. Literally, my desk is here and here is the other end of my desk. I want to show you that I can do some exercise here that's actually productive. And so I'm kind of invigorated about that, and I don't really know exactly how to achieve it, although I have some ideas in my head. I think that would be great, because maybe other people are in the same situation, or maybe you sit in a cubicle for 8 hours a day and you just need to get a little bit of something in. That's all I got for today. It's Wednesday. I've got 9 million meetings. I'm sure you do too. So we'll get back to you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.